I'm going to start with our actually zeroth chapter, because this is the fundamental of uh, any technology that you will learn. Okay, web technology. I'm sure some of you heard about web technology, but you all know what is web technology. You have been using web technology. You are here because of web technology. You have been using Facebook, Google, and all that. They are nothing but a web technology. But still, I wanted to put this chapter because it gives you a concrete idea behind web technology, because what you see is just a visual representation, but what is going on behind the scene, knowing that is more important, right? So yeah, so let's get started. So in web technology, there are two terms which is very usually people use, right? Web page and website. But then there is this difference between these two terms. Web page is nothing but a document which can be displayed on the web browser. So for example, I open a Google link, or Google browser, or Google Chrome, and then I search some URL, right? So that page which comes is nothing but a web page. Okay, but then what is website? So website is nothing but a collection of these pages. So for example, you can go to, for example, hypermind.in. So actually, let's try to do this. So if I click this, right, so this is a website. Now for if I go and view this project, or this link, this is a web page. And how it is different? Because you notice this URL over here, it actually takes you to one particular page. But when you do this, right, when you do this site is a collection of lot of such pages. So for example, that project is one page, right? This project is one kind of web page. Then there can be different web pages involved here. Hypersign. So hypersign is another web page. So all I'm trying to say is website is a collection of these such kind of web pages. If you haven't understood this much so far, then still there is no problem. I'll give you one analogy to it. So you see a room in your house, right? That room you can think of as a web page, but then the house itself is can be thought as a website, because the house can have multiple such rooms, right? So each room you can imagine as a web page, and the whole house you can imagine as a website. So that's the pretty much concept of web page and website. They both are document which can be which are displayed on the web browser in order to display some information. But then the difference is, one is a website is a collection of web pages, and web page is a web page, just some content. Now, but if you look at this URLs, right, the URL are nothing but the address. So for example, if this house has an address like this, some place here, country name, and then colony name, and then the pin code, this you can relate this address, the URL, with the actual address of the house. So that's the kind of analogy. I hope web page, the difference between web page and website is clear now. Is there any question on web page and website? Vikram, are you looking into the questions, right? Like the.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat.
Okay. Do they have any question?
So far, no one has. Everyone is clear about it.
Cool. Now comes what is web technology. So web technology is nothing but a set of softwares and tools, or basically programs to communicate between these computers. So for example, if I have to communicate with you, I can go and simply tell you, hey, who you are, and you can say hi to me. But then how a computer can communicate, because my computer is sitting in my home and your computer is sitting in your home. How do they communicate? So they communicate over internet, right? But internet is just a medium, is a network. you need set of tools in both of these end of the internet to be able to communicate. So web technology provides you, or it's a term which is used for, you know, for all those software or tools which is used to communicate between these two computers, also to develop websites. For example, the web technology tools can be a programming language, it can be a development framework, it can be a browser, it can be a protocol, it can be data formats. So programming language, you know, right? Like to develop a website, you can have HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Similarly, there are development frameworks with which you can build websites efficiently and fast. So these are the development frameworks. You don't have to worry about this development framework for now. And just keep in mind there are some different software and tools available to communicate between computers over the network or internet, and these are called collectively as called as dev technology.